Good afternoon. Welcome. We're so glad that you could join us today for our webinar and student panel from CLE in Austin, Texas. My name is Katie Strong. I'm the program director here, and I am super excited for you to hear from some of our students and get a feel for what our program is all about from the student perspective. As many of you know, our mission at CLE is to foster independence by providing wraparound supports in areas of academics, career development, independent living skills, and social skills. But I can tell you that all day long, and it's going to be totally different from just getting to hear from the students themselves. So I'm not going to talk much longer. I'm going to pass it to them very soon. But first, I want to introduce Dr. Scott Allen. Scott is our staff psychologist here in Austin, the director of clinical services, and he is in charge of our social programming. Scott is a Texas licensed clinical psychologist who's been working with individuals with autism spectrum disorders for more than 10 years. Scott is passionate about using interest-based learning to teach social skills and executive functioning skills. And he has just really transformed our social program in Austin and made it fun and engaging and something that the students really seem to enjoy, as well as get the benefit of learning great social skills from. So with that, I will pass it to Scott.
Hi everybody, I'm Scott. I'll be hosting today's student panel. This is a unique opportunity for us because this is the first time we've done a student panel over the web, so welcome everybody. And I think first off I wanted to just introduce our students. So I'm going to start off with Zach. So Zach, can you tell us like what you're currently doing in the program and how long you've been here?
I have been here for about little over a year. I'm just trying to get out on my own, just do more on my own and learn, be on my own.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Zach. And then we'll move on to Ryan. So introduce yourself and how long you've been in the program and what you're currently working on.
All right. Hey, everyone. My name is Ryan. Should I give last name?
No.
I'm Ryan, and my last name is classified, and I've been in the CLE program for 2 years now. I am currently taking classes at the University of Texas at Austin, and that's what I'm working on. So.
And just overall being cool, right?
Yeah, totally.
All right. And then sitting next to Ryan is Abby.
Hi, everyone. My name is Abigail. I've been at CLE for, same as Zach, around over a year. Right now I am working on to hopefully get a job as a kennel tech, and I'm just taking a lot of like fun classes for the summer because I know that I'm going to actually enroll in a self-defense class.
Awesome. Are you sporting an office, the office t-shirt?
Yes.
Yeah, Dunder Mifflin. Awesome. All right. And then next I'll take it on to John. So tell us a little bit about yourself, John.
Hi. I've been at CLE for the past 2 years, working on independent living skills. And I was in the career track for a while, and now I'm currently on academics. I'm taking courses at Austin Community College for game design.
Awesome. Thank you, John. And then right next to John is Chris.
Hey, I'm Chris. Been at CLE for a bit under a year, and I'm just some supports as I head back to UT Austin in the fall, summer, and hopefully finish up my computer science degree there.
All right, congratulations on getting into UT. All right, so my first question is going to be for Zach. We're going to go right back to him. So what I want you to do, I think you kind of described this a second ago, but like, what are you currently doing in the program, at least as far as like your job, your career development?
Well, currently, like Scott said, I am in career development. I'm just, it's because my classes are all canceled out, so I can't do any of that stuff. So I'm exploring, looking for jobs and doing interviews, all that fun stuff.
So did you have a couple of interviews this week?
I did. I've had one last Friday and one yesterday.
Congratulations, that's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. Ryan, so what are you currently working on in school? And in what year in school are you, and what classes are you taking?
Well, I'm a junior currently. In terms of years, in terms of credits, I think it might actually be different. But I'm currently taking 2 classes, which I think is pretty normal for people at CLE. Taking US history and linguistics.
Tell us a little bit about what attracted you to CLE. What made you want to come into the program?
You know, I think my main is, managing money because that's like super important. And I know for a young adult who is trying to, live on her own, money is not the best because I have trouble spending money and just using money and not right. But that's why I'm, working on trying to, have enough to still pay rent and to be able to shower.
like real life problems, huh?
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Abby. John, what led you to choose CLE as a program?
Well, let's see. My parents wanted me to get out on my own for one thing, and I have a degree from a previous college in San Antonio, where I'm from, for game programming. But there's not a lot of game developer jobs in San Antonio. There's a lot more up here in Austin. And so coming to Austin, we worked out 2 birds with 1 stone coming here.
So think back, way back when you started the program, John. How did you think CLE could help you back then?
Independent living was a big part of it. Being on my own, away from my parents. I'd never been out on my own before, so that was the big one.
Yeah, that's like a big scary step for everybody, right?
Yep.
Yeah. All right, Chris, what was attractive to you about CLE as you were considering the program?
A few different things. One was kind of the social aspect, and that it's kind of with people who are going to be a little inherently more accepting of not necessarily being how do you put it, perfect socially, maybe a little more awkward, and for that, being normal, okay, and something you also find help with and still find people with. Also just some supports, as I've been out and living and working on my own before, and it's been mixed, and I've had good and bad, and I just like, if it's a little less bit of support that I need to finish out at UT, that's good.
Yeah, I like the way you worded that. It sounds like you were attracted to CLE because it was kind of you felt like it was going to be a supportive place for you socially.
Yeah.
Great, thank you, Chris. I'm going to ask you another question. So do you feel like everything has been easy for you so far at CLE?
Not sure if easy is the right word, but good. There's been feedback and accountability, and that's what I was looking for going in. And that's not necessarily an easy thing, but it's a necessary thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, feedback isn't usually easy, right?
Yeah.
Well, what about the rest of the group? How do you feel about feedback?
Feedback is definitely the hardest thing to get, especially you never know if you're going to get positive or negative feedback. So you just have to sit there and be like, oh no, oh no, oh no.
Yeah. Ryan, what's your opinion on feedback?
I think it's important. You kind of need it in order to have any idea of where you're headed. I'm kind of standoffish a little with some feedback if it's less than positive. But I think I usually end up coming around and being like, okay, I see what point.
Yeah, good. John, what do you think about feedback?
I found it very helpful when I'm getting off track for something in some degree. Getting feedback from others has been a big part of getting me back on it. And all aspects around here in Austin. So
Yeah.
whether it's the living or the stress, organization especially, that's been a big thing for me as well.
Yeah.
Keeping myself organized without regular input.
Yeah, thank you, John. Yeah, it's interesting because you never really learn from what you do right?
Yeah.
Usually what you do wrong. How about you, Zach? What do you think about feedback?
Well, it's kind of the same as with what everyone else said. I mean, feedback is important. I mean, there are those people that'll be like, "Hey, your shirt looks like crap." It's like, "Oh, well, thanks for telling me." And there's people that are like, "Oh, your shirt looks really nice." It's like, "Oh, thank you." So I mean, it's kind of yeah, it's a positive and negative.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can be more positive.
Yeah. What about constructive feedback? Does anybody have an opinion on that? Crickets. What about like somebody telling you that your tag is sticking out of the back of your shirt or something like that?
Yeah, that's probably a major issue. Be like, oh, well then I need to cut the tag off.
Exactly. All right, Mr. Zach, we're going to go back to you. What was your plan coming into CLE, and how do you feel like it changed?
Well, to be honest, no, we didn't really have a big plan. Dad just wanted me to get out of the house. Like, oh, are you gonna do this? Oh, let's get you out of the house. I really wanted to get out of my comfort zone socially. The first year, you kind of have to do everything. So yeah, I mean, the socials were pretty awesome. You get to meet a bunch of amazing people and spend time with other people and just have fun.
Yeah, I think you've done a really good job with like diving into the social program for sure.
Yes, indeed.
So how do you feel like your path kind of changed as you like, because I know you're no longer like in classes. So what led you to that decision?
Like the social decision.
No, like you were in academics before, but now you're doing like, you're looking for jobs. So how did that change?
It started in January. I was trying to sign up for 2 vet tech classes. I signed up for them successfully. But the first couple weeks was like, oh, I got an email saying like, oh, we're gonna times have changed, so we're gonna cancel the classes for a couple weeks. Then we're gonna have to cancel again because insufficient students. A couple more months later, like, oh, I'm sorry, we're just gonna have to cut the program entirely because there's not enough students. So that's why I'm here.
Yeah, so you're trying to go off and get that experience on your own, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's great. Mr. Ryan, so what do you feel like your approach was to CLE when you first started the program?
Well, let's see. When I first started, I was kind of resistant. You know, I eventually opened up, but at first I was just like, you can't make me do this. So,
You're not the boss of me.
Mm-hmm.
You're not the boss of me? Is that what you were kind of thinking?
Pretty much.
So what led you to change that?
I guess just time, trust, comfort, opening up, that sort of thing.
Yeah, awesome. That's good to hear. Abby, how would you describe your time at CLE so far?
Like Ryan here. When I first got here, I definitely had a very difficult time getting along with people, and I just think, I was like, I don't want to do anything. I'm just gonna be this punk kid and like, be rebellious and whatever. But I guess I was like as time like moved forward, I was like, all right, I'm gonna just give it a chance. I'm gonna be chill, and I'm just gonna agree, even though I'm not gonna agree with everything that they say. I'm just gonna go with it, and at least try to agree with them, even though it's more or less of a agree or disagree thing.
And how has that gone for you so far? Like, since you've made that decision to kind of change, the way you take, advice and feedback.
I feel like it's helpful just to really see their other perspective on things, and they like, especially in mentoring and advising, they're like, all right, here's what you did, here's what you need to fix, and I'm like, okay, that's what I'll do.
Wow, yeah, it's so cool because I can like see you maturing before my very eyes. It's so neat. Thank you, Abby. John, what did you originally want to do here when you started the program?
Let's see. Well, trying to find a job in the game industry wasn't a big part of it. So I did a lot of job searching in the first year. I ended up, it was hard to find an entry-level job. So I took a job at Holiday Inn for a while just to, get some work experience and some cash on the side. That went well for a few months. I got to meet a lot of people, work in a group environment.
Mm-hmm. And so how has that shifted to what you're doing now?
Well, I'm still aiming for a job in game dev.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's been a while since I graduated from my old college. I decided it was time to refresh some skills, maybe pick up some new ones.
Mm-hmm.
I went into game design this time, a little bit broader than programming, so I can widen my search a bit. I'm still aiming for game development, but not just programming now. So.
Well, I think that's a good example of like when things aren't going very well or when you're struggling, like getting more training, I think, and opening yourself up to some new experiences is a good way to go, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it sounds like that. So you mentioned the Holiday Inn. Like, how did that go for you? And did you run into any challenges there?
I mean, it can be stressful at times, but it was good work, and it lasted several months. It wasn't the job itself that did me in; it was the commute, especially as it got towards summer. Just the walk between the downtown station and the inn itself had a fainting spell, and that was very scary. Yeah.
Yeah, being here in Texas, you can get like 100 degrees every day, right? So
Yeah. Well, I'm familiar with Texas. I've lived here half my life, and San Antonio just a little further south. But I don't get out much, so
That
that contributed to it.
Yeah. Would you say you've learned anything from that experience?
I would say I learned plenty about handling stress, dealing with people at work, coworkers, and customers.
Mm-hmm.
Etiquette, dealing with because I was working as like the dining room greeter.
Yeah.
While I was there.
Thanks, John. Chris, has everything been easy for you here so far?
Didn't you just ask me that?
Yeah, I might have actually. Well, yeah, I think you kind of explained it so far. Sorry. Well, tell us a little bit about your plans for the summer.
So I am enrolled but not yet registered for summer classes at UT. I am, so hopefully next week, some scheduling mishaps, I need to see an advisor about which classes to register for, just because my previous degree plan at this point is kind of out of date and needs updating, as well as mapping like stuff I did at ACC in the meantime onto that and other sources of credit. So that's just, but that'll get done, and then hopefully, so at least one class, possibly two, depending on how they're scheduled over the summer. And also looking into possibly finally getting my driver's license after only 13 years or something.
Yeah, that's a big step toward independence too, right?
Yeah, I mean, I can get around the bus. It's tricky sometimes, especially in 100-something degree Texas weather.
How do you feel like CLE's promoted your self-expression? Or how do you feel that CLE's accepted you for who you are?
Sorry, I'm just thinking seriously about it, and I get sidetracked a bit. So I'm not entirely sure how obvious this is from the stream, just because we're like of our faces, but I'm trans and chose to actually begin transition several years ago, but didn't start dressing in public until I think last July. And understandably, I was a little understatement, a little anxious about that. But it's been good. Some of that's just Austin is pretty accepting of that. But yeah, it's been good, supportive.
Yeah, it's great. I'm glad you feel that way for sure. Because I think you should always feel supported in whatever environment you happen to be in.
Yeah.
Let's go back to Abby. Abby, in what ways would you consider yourself to be unique?
Oh man, let's see. How would I be unique? That's a very fun question. I guess I would probably define myself. Yeah, probably like define myself. Well, I can't think of another word. As I'm just really creative, and I like to read, and I like to write my own music, play guitar from time to time, and I like hanging out with my friends.
Very strange.
Do you feel like you fit in pretty well here in Austin?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
And how do you feel like CLE has embraced you for who you are?
I think just, really helping me through a lot of difficult situations. And just, being there for me when I needed it.
Hey, Abby, your sound is going out a little bit. Can you move a little bit more toward Ryan? I think it's a little, there you go. Can you say that one more time?
Okay, yeah. So I said, talking to me and like being there for me and be able to talk about difficult problems.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Abby. And then how about you, Ryan? Like, how do you feel like CLE's embraced you for who you are?
they give me a lot of second chances. So
I totally missed what you just said. Can you get a little closer to Abby? Say that one more time. Yeah, sorry, I don't mean to put you guys in an uncomfortable position.
Is this comfortable? Do you want me to repeat myself for?
Yeah, I missed what you said a second ago.
The way that you guys have accepted me is you give me a lot of second chances. So.
Oh, all right, awesome, thank you. Zach, how do you feel like CLE's embraced you for who you are?
Well, there's only one of me, and I'm not quoting a song or anything, but I am unique. That cannot be replaced.
Great.
But I am me, and me is I. I feel the CLE how they embraced me is I can't quite find the words. I can't quite find the words for what I'm trying to say.
They embrace you with your arms.
Like a giant hug? Sometimes.
Maybe a giant mental hug, right?
Yeah. Y'all let me be me, and that's what I like about CLE.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
What do you have around your neck there? What is that?
Oh, this?
Yeah, that.
Oh, these are my car keys.
Yeah, but what is that?
Oh, it's a lanyard. It's a Pokemon lanyard. It's a Pokemon lanyard.
There you go. Yeah, you're a Pokemaniac, right?
Yeah. I mean, you can't really see it, but I'm kind of a fan.
Yeah, just a smidge, right? A little bit.
I would say more.
I think that'd be a little bit of an under exaggeration.
Yeah. Speaking of Pokemon fans, John, how has CLE embraced you for who you are?
Made a lot of friends here at CLE. Some present, others not here at the moment, but hang out at a lot of social events. We also have like groups here where we play games and stuff. We've got a tabletop group. I've gotten so into tabletop since moving here. I never played tabletop before. I've wanted to for so long, and I've finally got a chance here, and I've fallen in love.
So for like the noobs in the group, like the ones that don't really know what a tabletop game is, can you explain that for the group?
Which one? Ever heard of Dungeons and Dragons? Yeah, pen and paper role playing. It's so you get a bunch of people together at a table and you make characters. You put together like statistics for them, like attributes of their personalities and objectives. One person becomes like the dungeon master and develops a story, and the group works together to work through that story and accomplish things, get loot, and level up and all sorts of things, and you just have fun with it.
Yeah, and as somebody that's kind of run a tabletop group, it's kind of cool to see how much you can teach using that too.
Oh yeah.
Do you feel like you've learned anything through that modality?
A lot of cooperation, like coordination, figuring out who works well together in various situations, and how you complement each other.
Wow. Yeah, it's really cool. And Chris, you're in that group as well. Like, do you feel like you've learned anything through tabletop gaming?
I'm not sure if I can pick out anything specific, but definitely in helping me to kind of open up a bit more to some of the groups here and connect a bit more. It's been very helpful.
Yeah, I think you definitely made some friends in that group, haven't you?
In relation to what you do, 3 hours to set up the plot, 2 minutes to go off the rails.
That happens a lot too.
It does happen a lot, absolutely.
There's a lot of improv.
Moving back to Zach. Zach, can you tell us a little bit about what you've learned in terms of friendships?
Whew, to be honest, I've got nothing.
Well, how about one thing that you've learned about yourself?
No.
I can do things.
Sure we're all thinking.
Well, one of the things you mentioned before that you came in wanting to do is you wanted to come in and make friends, right?
Yeah, I wanted to make friends, and I have been. I've been doing that. I have one really good friend from here.
Yeah. But you hang out with other students pretty regularly, right?
Yeah, it's pretty regularly.
Awesome. Ryan, tell me a little bit about how you've achieved greater independence in your life.
Oh God. So a lot of that has been about kind of setting boundaries with my parents and my family in general, I guess. And for transitioning of like the independent living stuff, being more capable of filling their roles as parents, being able to take care of academic or like housework type of things, and be able to sort of set up those boundaries so that you can say, hey, I've got this, I can do this.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to ask the group a question now, and I'm going to start with you, Ryan. And I think you kind of answered this before. Are you the same person as you were when you started the program?
No, not at all. I mean, yes, I'm obviously the same person, but like, I've changed.
No, you're a robot clone.
What?
I said no, you're a robot clone.
I'm my own evil twin.
All right.
You're a ditto.
Of course, Steve brings up Pokemon.
Okay, Abby, do you feel like you're the same person that you were when you started the program?
Definitely not. I feel like I'm, I guess, less moodier. And less of like an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah, and more mature for sure, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Zach,
Yes.
do you feel like you're the same person that you were when you started the program?
No, I am not the same person as I was when I first started.
So what's changed about you?
Earlier on, when I was in high school, I had a small group of friends. Weren't really the group of friends, but they were a group of friends. Then after high school ended, it was just a couple years of being a hermit and working with my dad. But then he's like, "What do you think about going to live on your own?" I was like, maybe I'd finally get out of the house. Yeah, but I've had a lot of fun here in my time.
Cool. John, do you feel like you're the same person as you were when you started the program?
Definitely not. It's hard to say exactly how, but I've lived on my own now for 2 years. I've had a job. I've made friends. I've gotten out more. I've driven, and this is something I meant to bring up earlier. I had a car crash.
Oh.
That was not fun, but I've experienced
Yeah.
it. Something I wasn't getting at my parents' house.
Yeah. So, I mean, I feel like you've also just gotten to be more relaxed and more comfortable in general. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Chris, do you feel like you're the same person as you were when you started the program?
I think a good way to put it would be I'm a better version of the person I was and closer to who I want to be.
It's really good.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
that
Chris
sounds
2.0,
Chris 2.0.
Something like that.
something like that. All right, let's talk a little bit about like where y'all plan on going. So I guess I would start with, what do you want to be when you grow up? I'll let anybody chime in that wants to.
Okay, well, I guess I'll go since everyone else is it. Okay, so at first when I was little, funny story, when I was at least 5, I said that I wanted to be a vegetarian, even though I meant veterinarian. And I didn't know what they meant at the time. And so then my mom had to explain what those were. And I was like, oh, okay, I want to be a veterinarian. And so then whenever, I first came here and I started taking classes at ACC, and I just realized that like all the math and everything was just too difficult. So I'm like, all right, let me just take it down and just start off as a kennel technician instead. And so that's like gotten easier. So that's what I want to do.
You know, you might be able to be a vegetarian veterinarian, right? Anybody else? What do you want to be when you grow up?
I don't know.
I made it pretty clear I want to be a game developer. I haven't really decided if I want to be in an independent studio or big budget, but if I were to be in a big budget studio, my dream job would be Blizzard Entertainment.
You said you want to work for Blizzard?
Yeah, working on World of Warcraft or Overwatch or Hearthstone. Love their games. Can't play StarCraft 2 very good at all, but I mean, even that game I love. The characters, the story, and everything. I love all their stuff.
And how about you, Zach? What do you want to be when you grow up?
I recently I wanted to be a veterinarian technician. I learned that there's a buttload of math to be involved in that. So I was like, maybe I'll give this a try. But I've been a little disappointed that the classes didn't work out. I'm still gonna try again. But if they don't work out, I'm just sort of like, I just screw it.
Good words. Good words.
Thank you.
Best words.
Chris, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Yes, but so I mean, it's kind of interesting because I've been out and working and doing what I do. It's just, I'd like to finish my degree. I'd like to get a little better workplace skills, but yeah, I like programming. I like solving interesting problems, and I have a fair bit of additional science background that helps a lot in research or other kind of ancillary tasks. But so I don't mean to be vague. I've done a lot of different things and been interested in a lot of different things. I worked in a biomed lab. I've worked at a job search engine company. I've worked with VMware in Palo Alto.
All right, thank you, Chris. So we have 2 that are in tech. We have 2 that work with animals. And Ryan, what do you want to be when you grow up?
I still don't know.
Oh,
Which is
come on,
totally okay.
man.
One more question for the group. And then I'm probably going to let each of you just maybe say something at the end to kind of wrap it up for each of you. But what's advice that you might give to an incoming CLE student?
Be prepared.
What did you say?
Be prepared.
And what do you mean by that?
Just if their parents are willing to pay for a year, you're a busy scheduling, to be prepared for lots of walking around and lots of work.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things to do, right?
Yeah.
So can you tell the audience a little bit about like what a schedule might look like in your first year? Like what kinds of things did you have on your schedule back then?
First year, you have wake up calls in the morning to make sure you get up at a specific time. Then you go on like either tutoring or career or you have school. And then go down the line. There's more busy stuff. You have like maybe occasionally 1 or 2 hours by yourself. That just be going back into the fray.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things we really try to do here is we try to model what like life on a job might look like, right? So
Right.
It does seem pretty busy.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that was helpful for you when you look back at it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah.
Good. Thank you, Zach.
It was definitely good for my dad too.
Yeah, because your dad likes you to be busy, right?
Yeah, he was like, make sure he's busy.
All right. Well, thank you, Zach. John, if you, what advice would you give to an incoming student?
I've never been good with giving advice.
Would you like to come back to you?
Go to bed at a good hour. Just be ready to wake up the next day. There's always something to do the next day. You don't want to sleep in.
Yeah, that's really, really important, right?
Yeah.
You can't stay up all night playing World of Warcraft, right?
No, you cannot.
All right, how about
Only
you?
on weekends.
What's that? Only on weekends?
Yeah.
I'm glad you learned that lesson. Abby, what advice might you have for an incoming CLE student?
Yeah, so basically what Zach said, be prepared and, walk in with a very happy smile.
A peppy smile.
Uh,
How does that look like?
just like, at least like, try to talk to a lot of like everyone so that you're able to, like make friends and, share memories,
Get comfortable.
Yeah, that's pretty much what you gotta do. Like, share all the memories you have, as you get older.
Yeah. I think it's also important for you to be able to share like how you're feeling about stuff too, right? If you're not feeling good, it's also important that you talk to people about that, right?
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Abby. How about you, Ryan? What advice would you give to an incoming CLE student?
You get out what you put in. So
There you
Yeah.
go.
What do you mean by that?
At least try.
Yeah.
So.
All right, thank you. And Chris, what advice would you give to an incoming CLE student?
It's really fair. It's not really fair going last, but yeah, I guess
There's so many good ones. Yeah, you guys are awesome.
I guess take it seriously, be open, be honest.
Yeah.
If something's not working, talk about why it's not working. If you don't talk about it, you're not going to figure out why. That's true of studying stuff, like social stuff, all that stuff, right? And this is an environment where people, if you ask, they'll actually sit down and talk it through with you versus some people, just life people, may not be able to willing to sit down and say, how can we work out what's going on here? They'll just kind of up and leave because they got lives. But yeah.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you all for this wonderful student panel. You guys all did such a good job of sharing about yourselves, and I always enjoy doing these because I can see your personalities every time we do these. Is there anything that any of you would like to say, like in terms of like any type of a goodbye message to the audience out there?
Hi, Mom.
All right. Well, thank you all. You guys all did such a good job. I saw a message from Abby's mom that says, "Great job, Abigail."
Oh, my mom just said great job.
Yeah. And you guys have all done a great job. Thank you. And at the end of our student panel today, we will have a 1-800 number that comes up on the screen. So if you are interested in the program or would like to hear more from our students, definitely give that number a call. Thank you.